Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear students, welcome to our class. Inshallah, this class we will see about exchange of gases between blood and tissues. Last class we stopped till here, the breathing rate, and hope you all listened well and took notes and studied well. Alhamdulillah. So in this class, inshallah, we will continue from this, that is exchange of gases, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide between blood and tissues. So when we inhale the oxygen, what happens is that it fills in the alveoli. I told that at the end of the alveolar branches here in the lungs, okay, here you have at the end of the bronchioles you have alveoli. I told this last class. So it fills in the alveoli. That inhalation, through inhalation, when we inhale the oxygen, that oxygen it fills in the alveoli of the lungs with the oxygenated air, that is air containing oxygen. So this oxygen has to reach the various tissues of the body. So that's the target. Okay. So in the first step, what happens is that the blood capillaries on alveoli, you can see the blood capillaries right on the alveoli. So they pick up the oxygen from the alveoli. So that is the first step. So alveoli is filled up with oxygen, oxygenated air. Now the blood capillaries, they take the oxygen, they pick the oxygen from the alveoli, and also the another function is that they bring the carbon dioxide, okay, from the tissues by the capillaries. So the capillaries, they bring the carbon dioxide from the tissues, okay, and it is exchanged. That's why here exchange of gases, it is exchanged for oxygen. So that is a place where exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide happens. So now then oxygen diffuses into alveoli. So in the tissues the oxygen gets used up. Okay, so now the oxygen from alveoli is taken up to the tissues. So in the tissues the oxygen is used up, and the carbon dioxide is accumulated there is now exchanged, okay, for the oxygen in blood. So this is the process. The carbon dioxide picked up by blood from the tissues is carried to the heart by veins. So uh, in this step what happens is that we know that from the tissues the carbon dioxide is picked up by the blood, okay. Now it is carried to the heart by veins. So that is the final step of exchange of gases. So here they have given diagrammatic representation. This is the alveoli and this is the branchiole, that is in the lungs. The end you have alveoli. One singular word is alveolus. So these are the blood vessels that bring blood without much oxygen from the pulmonary veins. So here you have blood vessels, they return oxygenated blood to the pulmonary veins, that you have to remember. So this is a section through part of a lung, okay. So here this is the cell in wall of capillary. These are elastic fiber for elastic capability of the lungs, and this is the cell in wall of alveolus. So you have cell that is present in the wall of the alveolus, this alveolus, okay. So here you have white blood cell. The purpose of the white blood cell is to destroy the bacteria that get into the alveolus, and this is the air space in alveolus, okay. This is the alveolus, it has air space in it, and surrounding it you have red blood cell. This, then you have a diagrammatic representation of how the gaseous exchange happens. So in this way, this is the alveolus, the air comes in and air moves out, that is oxygen comes in and CO2 moves out. So these are the red blood cells surrounding it. This is the wall of alveolus, it's a wall of capillary. Capillary means the tubes which conduct the blood. So what happens is that oxygen comes in here. Okay, so it diffuses into the red blood cells, and red blood cells, they take the oxygen to the tissues. So, and from there, then the tissues, carbon dioxide there, it is taken by the blood cells, and they come back to the alveolus and they diffuse into the alveolus. So here is the gaseous exchange happens. Then you have cellular respiration. Okay, uh, once inside the tissues, the oxygen, they act upon the digested food, that is on glucose, and then it is further converted into an energy molecule, that you have to remember. So the result energy and the carbon dioxide are released in this process. Okay, so the oxygen is used up on upon the digested food, that is, that has glucose in it, and ATP energy molecule is produced, and the byproduct carbon dioxide is released. So this occurs in the mitochondria of the cells. This process, it occurs in the mitochondria of the cells, and this process is called as cellular respiration. You have to remember this. So these are some other side points. If you wish, you can read it. Okay, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me. This is some side information. The next topic is the final one in this chapter, that is excretion. So in our body, many chemical reactions happens in the body cells. So some products of these chemical reactions are not needed by the body. Okay, so chemical reactions happen in our body, and there are some products that are useful for our body, and there are some products produced from these chemical reactions that are not needed by the body. Our body do not need it. Okay, so and also they may be harmful to it. If they accumulate in our body, they may be harmful to our body. So those products that are not needed and may be harmful, they have to be removed from our body. So that process of removal is what is called as excretion. Okay, in our body we have human excretory system. Through that, these and these products that are not needed by the body, that are harmful if they are accumulated, so they are removed from our body through the human excretory system. So in human beings, the excretion is carried out by an organ. We have an organ specially made up for that. It's known as urinary system or the excretory system. Okay, so that is the organ, and here you have the human excretory system. You have kidney present in it. So two bean-shaped kidneys. The kidneys, they look like a bean. It looks like a bean, and they located below the diaphragm in the abdomen, under the below the diaphragm in the abdomen part, and it is the kidney is present. Okay, uh, two excretory tubes or ureters, one from each kidney. So this is the ureter, is the excretory tube are present, one from each kidney, and it leads to a one urinary bladder, and you have ureter that open into it. Okay, and finally the waste is excreted through urine. So this is the human excretory system. You have these are veins that bring the waste. Okay, so you have right kidney, left kidney, and you have left renal artery. Okay, and you have veins, you have ureter, we all I explained here, and this is the urinary bladder to save the urine, and finally urethra at the end. Okay, a muscular tube called urethra arises from the bladder. From the bladder there is a muscular tube which is called as urethra, and finally there is an urinary opening at the end of the urethra. Okay, so the structural and functional unit of kidney. The structural and functional unit of kidney is nephron. You have to remember this word. Nephron is the structural and functional unit of the kidney. Okay, like how in brain you have neuron is the functional unit of brain. Likewise, in the kidney, nephron is the functional unit. Okay, each kidney is made up of tube-like structure called as nephrons or renal tubules. Okay, so nephron is the structural and functional unit of the kidney. What is structural unit? If a organ is there, uh, it it is made up of certain things, okay, and it gives the structure. So it is the structural unit, and the organ's function is there, okay, and if it is carried out by the same unit, so we call that as functional unit. Okay, so nephron is the structural and the functional unit of the kidney. So the cup shaped upper end of nephron is called Bowman's capsule. So the upper end of nephron has a cup shaped, this thing is there, it is called as Bowman's capsule. The name of it is Bowman's capsule. It has a network of capillaries. Okay, capillaries means tubes that carry something like blood or some other liquid. So it has a network of capillaries within it. Okay, it has network of capillaries within it, and they are called as glomerulus. Okay, glomerulus is a knot of capillaries formed from the artery. So artery, they bring the blood containing waste and excess of water to the kidney. So artery, they conduct blood. Okay, so they bring blood containing waste and excess of water to the kidney, and then there in the kidney, the blood is purified, I mean the waste is removed, and then the and then the useful things are reabsorbed. Okay, if there are any useful things, then they are reabsorbed and taken back. Okay, so the Bowman capsules, further it leads into a tubular structure. You can see here Bowman's capsule, and you have glomerulus, that is network of capillaries, and this Bowman's capsule leads into a network. Okay, leads into a tubular structure. So that this tubular part of the nephron or renal tubule has three subparts. Okay, this tubular part, it has three subparts. The first one is proximal convoluted tubule, PCT. Okay, then the next second part is a thinner tube called loop of Henle. The second part is called as loop of Henle. It's a thinner tube, and the third subpart is distal convoluted tubule. So proximal means a thing which is near. Proximity means near. Okay, so it is near to the Bowman's capsule. So it is called as proximal convoluted tubule. You can see here. Okay, this is the proximal convoluted tubule, and this is distal convoluted tubule. Distal means that is it has a away from it. Okay, distance, that is the word. Distal means away from it, away from the uh, this glomerulus or Bowman's capsule. So this is distal convoluted tubule, and you have the thin tube here. This is called as loop of Henle. So here what happens is that the blood capillaries containing waste, it carries blood and it comes to the Bowman's capsule containing glomerulus, and it is taken, okay, like this, and it passes through the loop of Henle, and it comes through uh, to distal convoluted tube. Then you have collecting duct. Okay, and this blood capillary surrounding it, they absorb the useful things that are present in the coming blood. Okay, they are reabsorbed. Okay, now we will see the mechanism of excretion. So there are two important processes of excretion. First one is filtration, second one is reabsorption. So in the filtration process, the waste materials, they get filtrated, and the reabsorption, what happens is that if there are any uh, uh, useful things like sodium and chloride or excess water, then they are reabsorbed back. Okay, so filtration and the reabsorption, you have to remember, are the two important process of excretion. So blood entering the glomerulus gets filtered in the Bowman's capsule. In the Bowman's capsule, they get filtered, and it is called the nephric filtrate. Okay, the filtrate that which is filtered after that, that liquid, it is called as nephric filtrate. Okay, in this process, the red blood corpuscles, RBCs, and the proteins, they do not get filtered out. Okay, they remain in the bloodstream. The filtrate entering the renal tubule. Filtrate means a liquid after filtration. Okay, so that's why here I told it, after the filtration it is called as nephric filtrate. The blood that comes with waste, they get filtrated in the Bowman's capsule, and after that, that is called as nephric filtrate. So the nephric filtrate entering the renal tube not only contains waste but also some useful substances also present after the filtration. So these useful substances have to be reabsorbed from the tubule into the blood capillaries surrounding the tubule. You can see the red color blood capillaries here surrounding the tubule. So they have to be reabsorbed, like excess water and salts like sodium and chloride, they have to be reabsorbed into the blood from the renal tubule. So uh, finally, only the waste form in the form of urea, okay, they enters into the collecting tubules from various renal tubules, and that is called as urine. Okay, from the kidneys, the urine enters to the ureters to reach the urinary bladder. I showed you, and then finally urine is thrown out of the body periodically whenever it is necessary through the urinary opening. So you have the functions of kidney. So kidneys not only excrete nitrogenous waste from our body but also regulate the water content of the body, which is called as osmoregulation. That is, we will see what is osmoregulation, but generally you have to understand that in our body an amount of water has to be regulated. So if there are excess of water, it will be removed through the kidney. Okay, so the kidney regulates how much water has to be kept in the body for the regulation balance. So not only the excretion of nitrogenous waste done by the kidney, but also osmoregulation, that is water content of the body is regulated, and also to keep the normal mineral balance in the blood. Okay, so if there are excess mineral, they have to be removed, and to keep the balance in the blood. So when, if there is no proper balance in our body of minerals, then a person can fall sick. So that is a process done by kidney to keep the mineral balance. The other organs that remove the waste from our body, apart from kidneys, you have lungs. Through that, some toxins and waste products are removed. I mean, sorry, lungs, carbon dioxide are removed from our body, and skin, they we secrete sweat, and through that excess salts are removed from our body, and liver, through that toxins and other waste products are removed from our body. Okay, as I told, the sweat glands in the skin remove excess salts when we sweat, and lungs remove carbon dioxide, which I told you. Okay, and as I told, we will see here the osmoregulation. If a person gets sick, the balance of the substances, I mean, if there is an imbalance of the substances such as mineral ions or water or even some hormones inside the body, and person might get upset, I mean in the sense sick, he can fall sick. So it has to be maintained in our body. So the maintenance of the correct amount of water and mineral ions. Okay, so the correct amount of water and minerals ions maintenance in our in the blood is what is called as osmoregulation. So inshallah, next class we will see this kidney failure, dialysis and kidney transplant. Okay, or we will see in this class in inshallah. Okay, so this is the last topic. Okay, so if there is any accident or kidney failure, what happens is that our kidney cannot function and the waste cannot be removed from our body. So in such cases there are artificial kidney called as dialysis and or the kidney transplant. That is, we have two kidneys and one kidney is enough to function. Okay, if a person has two healthy kidney, he can donate one kidney to another person. Okay, or if a person is dying and that kidney can be given to a person who needs kidney, whose two kidneys do not function. So that is called as kidney transplantation. So so in the dialysis process, what happens is that this is the dialysis process. Blood is taken. A person whose two kidney does not function, uh, if the kidney does not function, then blood waste won't be removed from a body. So this is the artificial kidney called as dialysis setup. What happens is that blood is taken from the body, from the artery, then here the pump, it pumps the blood to this dialysis setup. Here you have a tube. Okay, it has inner tube in it. Inside it blood will be there, and outside it the dialysis solution will be there, and they will be separated by a selectively permeable membrane, which means it can only allow certain elements or certain things. So what happens is that the blood waste from the blood, they are permeated into this dialysis solution, and the used dialysing solution containing a urea and excess salts, they are removed, and fresh dialysing solution is filled into this setup, and the purified blood, they are taken back to the patient's body. This is the process they have explained here. Okay, so and this process is called as dialysis. And the another process is kidney transplantation. That is, a functioning kidney is transplanted to a person whose two kidneys are not functioning. Okay, so that process is called kidney transplantation. So in this, the doctor has to do certain checkups, blood group and everything, so that the recipient body accepts the donor kidney. Okay, so we have completed this chapter, alhamdulillah. And as usual, you have to write down the answers for the in-text questions, and in your notes your homework is that you have to write down this what you have learned, this part. Okay, completely you have to write it down and you have to send it to me, inshallah. Many of you haven't sent the previous lessons homework. Please send it. Okay, barakallah fiq. Inshallah we will start from the next lesson in the next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.